Slashing is not a difficult foul to understand. You may use your stick to dislodge the ball from an opponent's stick as long as you make contact with the cross or the gloved hands of the opponent. Any attempt to check a player without having the ability to reach his cross is probably a good indication of whether a slash has occurred. The severity of the blow must be taken into consideration. A mere tap does not translate to a slash, even if the concept of reach has not been satisfied. A good concept to keep in mind at the lower levels: would the contact have hurt if the player was not wearing equipment? If so, then it's a slash. When a player has been dodged or when a turnover has occurred, pay careful attention to a check that is retaliatory. Poor judgment is often used here. In addition, defensive players may lunge at a player who is about to shoot. These desperation situations are also times to look for the slash to occur. One-handed checks are permissible as long as they satisfy the criteria of reaching the stick. But one-handed checks that are intimidating, retaliatory, or thrown in desperation should be watched carefully. However, an uncontrolled swing, whether it reaches the stick or not, is probably a slash. A brush is mere contact with the helmet of an opposing player. A slash to the head must be a definite blow. Again, the interpretation at the lower levels of the game would be, would the contact have hurt if the player was not wearing equipment? If so, then it's a slash.
Illegal body checks come in four main varieties: high hits, low hits, hits from the rear, and late hits. Two other conditions, spearing and checking a player who is off his feet, will also be covered.
High hits either originate above the shoulders or are part of a follow-through that starts as a legal check and then rises up above the shoulders. Low hits are body contact below the waist, or a legal hit that starts above the waist and then the follow-through falls below the waist. There are no diving blocks below the waist in lacrosse. From the rear is an illegal body check that is similar to a clip in football. Unless a player deliberately turns to avoid a body check, all contact must be from the side or in front. A key to catching the illegal body check is to look at the position of the player's feet. It is very difficult to make a legal body check if your feet are behind the feet of the player being checked. Late hits normally occur after a player has shot the ball or released a pass. The timing here is crucial. If a player is capable of stopping himself or slowing himself down after the pass or shot has been released, then the player must decelerate. Unavoidable contact may occur as long as the player attempts to throttle down. Any player who accelerates into an opponent or maintains the same velocity after a pass or a shot when he could have decelerated is probably guilty of a late hit.
Spearing is one of the most dangerous forms of contact in lacrosse. Not only is spearing dangerous for the person who receives the blow, it is also very dangerous for the person delivering the blow. Lacrosse players must never lead with their helmets.
Spearing is leading with the head or trying to use the helmet as a weapon. A lacrosse helmet does not provide the same type of protection that a football helmet does. Combine that with the crown-shaped visor on the helmet and the face mask, and there is a large potential that the neck may be injured when delivering a blow in this fashion. Deliberate spearing should be penalized with a non-releasable 3-minute personal foul. Hits that occur when a player is off his feet. You mostly find these violations during face-offs or scrums for loose balls. If any part of a player, other than his 2 feet, is on the ground and a body check occurs, you probably have unnecessary roughness or an illegal body check.
Unnecessary roughness covers a multitude of sins. We'll look at the most common forms here: lining up an opponent and unloading on offensive screens.
Lining up an unsuspecting player may be an act of unnecessary roughness, even if the check is legal. Long, high buddy passes are an invitation to lining up the pass receiver. Body contact in lacrosse must be spontaneous and appropriate. Taking a 10-yard run at someone is extremely dangerous. Deliberate and excessively violent contact made by a defensive player against an offensive player who has established a legal screening position is unnecessary roughness.
Cross-checking is using the handle of the cross as a defensive weapon.
Cross-checking occurs when a player extends his hands toward his opponent, using the handle of his stick to deliver a blow. The thrusting of the handle toward the player is a prerequisite for cross-checking to occur.